Well, hello and happy spooky season, pals. Speaking of spooky season, we are recording a special Halloween episode and we can't wait to hear from you. It's your turn to share your ghost stories with us, and we'll share as many of them as we can in our episode coming out October 29th. You can either write it out in an email or you can record yourself telling the story and send the audio file to spookysisterhood@gmail.com. Deadline is Saturday, October 18th by midnight. Can't wait to hear what you have for us, and of course, keep it spooky, Sibs. Hi, Paranormal Pals. Welcome to the Secret Society of the Spooky Sisterhood podcast. My name is Melanie. If you've stumbled into our headquarters here, our Not-So-Secret Society is a community built through social media to connect like-minded paranormal enthusiasts, and our goal is to lift up those in this space, especially but not exclusively women, who traditionally haven't had that opportunity. Each week, we'll be joined by a member of our sisterhood, a special guest, or both, as we discuss one of many fascinating topics in the paranormal world. So let's call this meeting to order. We've got a few bits of business this week. First, we're about halfway through our Haunt Down to Halloween 2025 season. Be sure to stick around at the end of the episode for details, and you can also visit spookysisterhood.com/events for info on how to win bonus entries as well. Second, as we mentioned before the episode started, we're looking for your spooky stories for our special Halloween episode, and you can send those to spookysisterhood@gmail.com by October 18th. Lastly, our third annual Spooky Slumber Party is coming October 15th, and details on that will be coming out this week, so stay tuned. I think that's all of our business, so let's welcome our special guest this week. When asked for a bio, I was given the following quote: "Dave is a photographer and my boyfriend. He does things with people and places, none of which concern you." End quote. So without further ado, Dave.
Hello.
So, you know what? Before anybody comes at us with accusations of favoritism or nepotism or any of that, I want to clarify that the main reason that you're chatting with me today is because we talk a lot about conspiracy theories.
That is true.
So I thought this would be fun to do this in more of an official capacity. Let's just get that out of the way. This has nothing to do with me guilting you into doing this as part of my lengthy plan to convert you into an Instagram boyfriend, okay?
That's probably for the best.
For both of us.
Yes.
So, one question that we like to start off every episode with, just to kind of understand our pals a little better, something kind of that we always talk about is this stuff that you've always been interested in? Have you always been into spooky things, or in this case, conspiracy theories and whatnot? Or if not, how did you become interested in that?
Yeah, I mean, I think growing up, in the kind of dawn of the internet, where it was more like really just kind of a lot of silly stuff more than it was anything else. There was always an abundance of kind of odd and paranormal and conspiratorial type of content out there.
Yeah.
So it's definitely always sort of been an interest of mine. And then I remember, like, as a kid going to a yard sale or getting some books from a family member or something like that, and there was one in there that's pretty good if people want to go find. I don't even know if it's in print anymore, but it's called None Dare Call It Conspiracy, and it's kind of talks about a lot of the prevailing conspiracy theories of the time, which would have primarily at that point been probably the early 80s. Honestly, I don't remember exactly what all was in it. Obviously, it covered JFK because that's probably the biggest one.
The conspiracy of all conspiracies.
Yeah, for Americans at least.
Yeah.
So if you look, there's a lady, she got murdered in Washington, D.C. in the maybe late 60s, early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to butcher this because I don't remember all of the ins and outs of it.
That's okay.
But ultimately, they were either interviewing her. She was married, but in the maybe late 50s, early 60s, before JFK was murdered, she was sort of like, I don't know if she was one of his mistresses, but they were apparently involved with one another. And she got killed like in a very public place in DC at a park while she was jogging, or near the National Mall or something like that. And they interviewed, I want to say it was her father, or the police were interviewing her father or something like that, and they asked him if she had any enemies, and he said something to the effect of the same people that killed JFK were responsible for her death.
You know what? I feel like I've heard this story, but I think I might be getting it mixed up. There's a book that I really wanted to read, and by the time I went to go get it, it was no longer available anywhere that I looked, and it's called The Girl Who Killed JFK. So it's not the same story, I don't think.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that one, but
I'll have to look that one up later and show you, because I remember that story wherever I heard it being so interesting that I immediately went to go find the book, and it was out of print and I couldn't find it anywhere.
yeah.
But that's interesting, and it sounds a lot like the Chandra Levy case from like the 90s. Do you remember? But that was a whole different thing, obviously.
Whole different, yeah, for sure. But, you know, of course there's like a lot of conspiracy around politics and powerful people.
Yeah.
And some of them end up being not so much theories as realities, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's a gentleman who writes and has done some podcasts as well, named Robert Scalva, I believe is his last name. And one of the subjects that he's a professionally trained journalist, if I recall correctly, and one of the things that he talks about is the difference between like conspiracy theory and actual conspiracies. Like, there are actual conspiracies that happen as well. It's not a theory that, you know, the U.S. government was involved in a coup because of a fruit company. That actually happened.
Okay, well, now I want to hear that story.
Chiquita Bananas, so it was U.S. fruit, if I'm not mistaken, more or less was involved in exporting.
Bananas?
Yeah, well, they were. So it was United Fruit Company. They were involved in trading tropical fruit, primarily bananas grown in Latin America. They ended up basically getting the U.S. government to help them cause a coup on their behalf to keep fruit prices cheap in Guatemala, maybe it was. And that's where the term Banana Republic comes from, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, well, clearly I'm going to have to look this up.
It's a super deep rabbit hole.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, but that's real. That happened.
Wow. It reminds me of the cheese caves, which, again, not a conspiracy theory. It's something that's real.
Yeah, it's something real.
But it just sounds bananas, no pun intended.
Yeah. A lot of that kind of stuff, like as we go along, we kind of find out that some of those things end up being real. So the Panama Papers that were released maybe a decade or so ago, I think now, where it was like a real conspiracy. It was largely wealthy people conspiring to shelter money from taxes and the governments and stuff like that. And like that stuff actually happened. But there's also a bunch of wacky ones that we like too, right?
Right. So let me ask you, you kind of brought this up just a second ago, but where do you feel like that line is of being a conspiracy theory, being just flat out truth? Like where?
Yeah, I think it is more of a spectrum, because realistically, if you found out without a shadow of a doubt, and this is kind of how I judge various things, if you found out without a shadow of a doubt that JFK, that there was sort of this conspiracy of American intelligence and government operatives to assassinate JFK, you would just kind of go, oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you found out that I don't know if you're familiar with the financier Jeffrey Epstein, but he did some stuff. That's the thing though, is that's a good example of like, that's a legitimate conspiracy. And if you found once again that he was murdered, you wouldn't be terribly shocked. You would just kind of go like, oh, okay, yeah, that did happen.
I think in both of those cases, if I found out that it wasn't a big conspiracy and they weren't murdered,
yeah,
I'd be more shocked, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a lot of times though, especially around JFK, for example, right? You saw with Watergate as an example that the fella's name was Mark, I don't remember his last name, but he was Deep Throat.
Yeah.
And, you know, finally, he lived a very, very long life, and I believe he was in his late 90s when he was nearing death, and he finally said, like, yeah, it was me, you know. And it made sense that it was him because he had enough access to know all of the things that he knew, right?
Right.
And I think that probably with JFK, I think that the reason that if there's a cover-up or anything involved with JFK, is just because so many things got bungled, right? Like your chief subject or your chief suspect gets murdered in a police station surrounded by cops.
Yeah.
By a guy that just owned a bar down the street.
Right.
I mean, you screwed a lot of stuff up.
There were so many things that seemed so, not even just not plausible, but almost impossible that happened.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a big piece of what makes people believe there must be something more to it.
Yeah.
And I think on the same, train of thought as what we're just saying is, what is going to make a good conspiracy theory is it has to have puzzle pieces that fit together. It can't just be some outlandish thought. Like, you have to have something.
Certainly. And I mean, that is the thing with the Kennedy assassination in particular, right? Is that I've never had to shoot somebody driving in a car, but my friends that have shot people driving in cars in combat have told me it's very difficult. And he did it with an old bolt action rifle. Now, he was a Marine, and obviously every Marine a rifleman and all that kind of stuff. So he would be more than trained to do it, but it's extremely difficult to do that. So not only you're effective on your target, you did that, you managed to dip out of the building. Now, a different time,
the building
different
that
place.
was already swept, theoretically speaking.
Theoretically.
Obviously, like you said, there's probably a lot of shit that did not get, the boxes were not all ticked.
Yeah. So, and I think it's the same thing with like probably the big modern day conspiracy is Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and the idea that you have these people that are trafficking individuals, and you have victims, and you have people that facilitated that.
Yeah.
But where are the people that paid for it all? Seemingly have disappeared. But I think the real, if you want a good, if there's any good that can come out of a situation like that, it's justice, obviously, for the victims. But
right.
If you want a good, compelling conspiracy theory around that one, it's that whole thing was like an intelligence operation. Was her dad was connected to intelligence.
So you have told me this theory before. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because then I have something to say about what has come out yesterday.
Yeah. So the theory is that this was basically an extortion racket with foreign intelligence, or maybe even U.S. intelligence agencies. Her dad was connected to, I believe, the British intelligence, because I think that she is English or British, however it works. Was born there, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure, so I'm on board with this.
Her dad was connected somehow, some way to English or United Kingdom's intelligence apparatus, and if you look at Epstein, he was a very, very wealthy man that lived in a penthouse in Manhattan, and nobody really knew where his money came from. And if you look at a lot of those guys, they have a pretty big trail, right? Like, if you follow finance or Wall Street at all, like, there's a huge backlog of information on Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, or Lloyd Blankfein, that was once the CEO of Goldman Sachs, or on and on and on, right? And he seemingly came out of nowhere. And the kind of the theory is, amongst all of this other stuff, is that these people that were being blackmailed were also essentially paying for it, and the way that they did it was funneling money into his hedge fund. It was like, it's a pretty good cover. They can just give him enormous sums of money, and then he is essentially holding it in escrow and living off the interest from it, kind of stuff.
Woof. So the theory there was that she was kind of the mastermind of this and was using Epstein as like a cover, essentially.
Yeah, I think
or a go-between.
I think what generally people that believe this believe is that they were sort of like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh, wow.
Without the explosives.
Without the explosives.
Yeah.
So then yesterday, it comes out that, yes, Trump was involved, but he was the secret agent in this case.
Anything's possible.
I would be more apt to believe that Lee Harvey Oswald did actually shoot JFK from the library.
Yeah.
Which I do not believe happened.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, while we're on that topic, I've looked and looked and looked, especially in preparation for this episode. I looked for this one episode that I saw probably 5 years ago or more on Netflix. It was an episode of a docu-series about like U.S. conspiracy theories. And this particular episode was about the JFK assassination. And they, like, I think I was telling you earlier, they go over the history of it. They go over like what happened. What did we see happen on film? What are the theories about what could have happened, yada yada. Then they bring in like an Army Ranger. I'm not in the military, so I'm going to butcher this, but like an Army Ranger, like sharpshooter, like someone who is the best of the best shooter.
Right.
And he could not make the shot from, what do you call it, the book repository.
Yeah.
He said he could maybe, but every single thing would have to go right. And it would be damn near impossible. But then they have him do it from the grassy knoll, and he basically was like, I could have done this on day one of boot camp with one eye closed. He's like, this is the easiest, most obvious explanation of what happened. And it would have had an easy, like, out. It was like, I'm telling you, it was like the best episode. Because to me, having stuff like that, where it's like, I am with evidence proving that this conspiracy theory is probably the truth.
Oh, yeah.
And I could not find this episode anywhere. It's got to be out there on the internet somewhere. If somebody knows this show or this episode, please tell me, because it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, I don't know what that would have been on.
I feel like it was, if I remember correctly, it was, shoot, I even wrote something down. The only thing I could find that was even close to it was JFK Declassified Tracking Oswald, but that was a whole docu-series about this, not just one episode. So I don't know. I'm going to keep digging, but...
Maybe that was something you just made up. I don't know.
I didn't make it up, but maybe the government planted it on Netflix for me specifically to see it and no one else.
That's plausible.
So let me ask you, what kind of things do you feel like spark interest in a conspiracy theory for you? And like, what qualities do they need to have before they grab your attention?
I mean, I think that we were kind of talking about this earlier. I think that there has to be a certain level of plausibility to them. And then it also has to be just probably something that you're interested in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the more compelling conspiracy theories, because we were talking about the lizard people, which doesn't make sense. I mean, and there's so many reasons why it doesn't make sense.
There's so many.
The main one, though, is that if there is like a new world order of lizard people running the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can't look at you right now while you're saying this.
If there's a new world order of lizard people running the world right now, it would make sense that they would be somewhere, like, that they would be involved with like the United Nations, and they would be involved with NATO and stuff like that, right?
Sure.
Okay, but if that was the case, then UN headquarters would not be on the East River in New York. It would be in like Scottsdale or something, because they're lizard people. Like, there's nowhere to go lay on rocks in New York in December, but in Scottsdale or Mesa, maybe.
Now, if I remember correctly, though, the UN meets in September in New York, which is still hot.
It's warm, but wouldn't you rather be in Sedona in September? I'm just saying.
It probably depends on what kind of lizards they are, too, maybe, because from what I understand, and granted, I put zero stock in this conspiracy, so I have not really looked into it that much, but from what I understand, they're from a different galaxy or whatever to begin with.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense, of course.
Obviously. So if they're from this other, the Draco constellation, I believe.
Oh.
If that's the case, maybe there's some other kind of lizard that does better in cold climates. I don't know. None of this makes any sense to begin with, so sure, maybe they're cold-blooded.
There could be a winter lizard that we just don't know about. But
Our country and the world are being run by winter lizards from space.
the way, that
Tell me that wouldn't be a great band name, though.
winter lizards from space.
Yeah. It's probably ska.
It would be a ska band. It absolutely would be a ska band with like a lot of brass.
So much brass. Real great trombone in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get too crazy with the lizard people here, what kind of things make you not interested in I almost said in a podcast. What kind of things make you not interested in a conspiracy theory? Whether it's like, I'm balking at it because it seems ridiculous, like the lizard people, or for me, just as an example, like the whole Sandy Hook being faked. To me, stuff like that is just cruel and baseless. And I don't want to give it any kind of credence by even entertaining it. I don't want to hear it. I want to know nothing about it because I think it's just cruel.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, like, there's obviously going to be people out there that are trying to serve their own purposes, right? And
yeah.
that's kind of where you and I are different. Like, I do want to see that stuff because I think that it's important to understand who the crazy people are. So I kind of,
yeah,
you know, but I think if you look at around that one, around Sandy Hook in particular, was the idea that they were like child actors and that they had been like they keep reusing these. The theory was that they keep reusing these same children
in other traumas.
Because they're called, it's trauma actor?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, so this is going off subject a little bit, but it's like what kind of the danger of AI stuff, right? Is because
100%.
you can essentially generate an unlimited supply of realistic looking people now. But anyway, point being is that you have to look at where that's coming from, for one, and the people involved with it are largely into some wacky stuff to begin with. And like, I'm not really sure who watches Alex Jones and is like, oh, this shit makes sense. But, and look, I watch some weird stuff. I love weird stuff on the internet.
Weirdest algorithm I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's like a lot of really weird stuff.
It's either really, really well curated over a long period of time, or it is just absolute random because the internet cannot figure you out.
Yeah, which is how you want it. But, I mean, you have to look at that and say, like, oh, this person is trying to serve. Like, they're being salacious for the sake of being salacious, and they're being controversial because they get views from it, and I don't in my mind believe that Alex Jones believes any of that stuff. I think that he says that kind of stuff because he knows that it drives it drives publicity, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that, you know, obviously with the idea that you don't, and I would tell this to anybody, if there's things on the internet you don't like, don't look at them. Like, it's largely a self-curated experience. But, yeah, at some point you have to just say, I'm not going to entertain this because it's hurtful or because it's so ridiculous.
Right.
But if they're going to be ridiculous, I want them to be so ridiculous that it's like
lizard people.
Yeah, and maybe even more, like even crazier than that. I can't think of anything crazier than that right now. But
Scientology. I can't go down that path. I do actually know some Scientologists, and they're actually pretty legit people. So I don't know. I don't want to loop everybody into one pot, you know?
I mean, I knew a few people that were involved, like deeply involved in Scientology. Lived at the place in Clearwater.
Oh, really?
Kind of
in
stuff.
Florida, yeah.
And they were like really lovely people, and they were pretty normal, other than they just happened to believe that a bad science fiction author happened to write the way to redemption. But we all got our thing. I mean, hell, I like, weird cheese sometimes. I don't know.
I'm not sure that's the same.
Well,
but to be
whatever.
fair, I mean, that's what most people think about Christianity too. Like, this is just the weirdest fiction zombie book of all time.
Yeah, you could quantify pretty much any religious practice.
Yeah.
We've strayed so far off subject, but if you look at any spiritual or cultural experience, if you grew up with it, it would be normal to you.
Yeah, and I remember, going to Sunday school. I grew up not super religious, especially considering I grew up in the South.
Yeah.
But my folks took us to church fairly often, and we would go to Sunday school, and I remember them teaching us the stories, of course, but explaining why they're true. Like, they gave it credence so that it makes you not really question it as much. And then you get older and you start to question it, and you're like, okay, but how did that work exactly? How did this dude walk on water? Was the water magic? Was he magic? Like, tell me more about this. And I think it sounds just as crazy when you look at Scientology stuff.
There's probably a conspiracy theory for that.
There's probably a conspiracy theory for all of these things.
Yes.
So, on that note, and kind of to loop it back onto the topic here.
Yes.
What are some of your favorite conspiracy theories? I have a list of my own for us to talk about, but I want to hear what some of your favorites are.
So that's what I was just looking at, was some various ones, because I can't...
There's so many.
There's so many. Holy
And there's like
shit.
little ones, and then there's like giant ones that kind of tie a bunch of conspiracies together.
I do quite love anything related to sort of, Roswell, Area 51, aerospace, any of that kind of stuff I think is super fascinating. One of the more interesting things that, if people don't know, that Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, where they built like the SR-71 and they built all of these other planes.
Skunk Works.
Yeah, it's called Skunk Works. It's in the middle of Burbank. It's like in the middle of all the studios. So they build stuff there, and they have to take it apart and ship it to Nevada to test fly stuff. It's just so crazy that, that's where it's at.
Well, since we're on this topic, I'm going to interject one of my favorites. And I hope my brother listens to this specific episode, because my brother is a scientist, essentially. That's not what he does for work anymore, but he studied science. He's very scientific minded. And one of my favorite ways to push his buttons is to talk about how we never landed on the moon. Speaking of aerospace and Burbank, again, I saw on a documentary one time where they recreated the video using technology from the day, and it was almost identical. And so to me, listen, I'm going to rock the boat for just a second here. If it's possible to recreate it using the same technology that was available at the time, Lockheed Martin is in the middle of Burbank, and I wasn't personally on the moon to witness this. I can't say beyond a shadow of a doubt that we have landed on the moon. It's just not possible for me to say that. I can't be like, I'm 100% sure that happened. Do I think we did? Yeah, probably. But why haven't we done it since like that? You know what I mean? Like, why are we not still sending people to the moon? I have a lot of questions about this one. I don't know. Again, I do think that we probably did, but it's an interesting one to talk about.
Yeah, there's for people that don't know, there are reflectors on the moon that you can see with a telescope if it's powerful enough, or they can hit it with a laser, one or the other. So they largely do know that we could have landed on the moon because of that.
Sure.
Also, that would be a big conspiracy.
Yeah.
But so that is there's a movie called Barry Lyndon, Stanley Kubrick directed, and there's if you're kind of into cameras and camera nerd stuff and cinema, then there's a scene in it that was lit. The entire scene is lit by candlelight, which is exceedingly difficult to do.
For sure.
Yeah. You see, your eyes are like way better adapted to light and lighting changes and stuff like that than cameras can record.
Absolutely.
Particularly years and years and years ago.
Yeah, because that's an older film.
1975 is what it's saying.
I was going to guess 70s or 80s, so yeah.
But they used lenses that were developed by Zeiss for filming on the moon. And Hasselblad, the company Hasselblad, built cameras, or they use Hasselblad cameras for shooting up there. But you certainly could, if you could get everybody to play along, fake the moon landing.
So I think that's a lot of people's biggest argument is like there's so many people involved
It's huge.
and no one has ever said anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously worked in film for a little bit, so you know how many people it takes to shoot anything. And just the idea of moving that equipment, setting it up, not only that, but like if you did it inside, you would have to move enough dirt and soil to make it realistic, and then you have all the people that you would need to film it and light it, and all of that kind of stuff would be really difficult. So unless you're gonna like take them all out in the back and off them, which they're it was the 60s, things were different back then, and there was a lot of commies in Hollywood, so who knows what happened. But just saying, it would be really difficult to keep all of those people quiet for all of those years, I think.
I don't totally disagree, but I also feel like not all of those people have to know everything.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
So you just tell people what they have to know, and then don't tell them the rest. Like, here's a good example of this. You were talking about how I worked in film for a while. Well, I worked on reshoots for Thor: Love and Thunder. I worked remotely from home in Virginia. It was like a 1-month project for me. I worked in accounting, so we got to see some things that other departments didn't. And basically, you have people who are on the main shoot for the film. Then you have people who do the reshoots. You have people that do different pieces of that, like if there's different units. So you have somebody in England, you have somebody in California, you have whatever. And a lot of times, they don't know what's going on in the other places. A good example of this that I'm getting to, I promise, is they were shooting the end credits scene. In a lot of those Marvel movies, especially at the end, they have the credits and then they'll interject a little scene that's usually a preview of something to come in the next Marvel movie. Well, that's what this was, and for anybody who hasn't seen it, spoiler alert, I guess, but in the Thor: Love and Thunder credits, there's a scene with Brett Goldstein from Ted Lasso, who is supposed to be the next, I was about to say Hercules. Is that right? Oh man, I can't believe I'm forgetting this. But anyway, they have him all set up and they're introducing the character and everything. And our little unit of reshoot accountants were 2 or 3 of the people on the entire film. that knew that that was happening. Like, it was just this tiny, tiny group of us.
Yeah.
So there were hundreds, if not over 1,000 people working on this film who had no idea.
Yeah, but how many people did it take to shoot his little scene?
Honestly, the way that they did it, probably not that many, because it's one scene, it's one location. That location was already built for something else. So when it comes to like who's actually on set, you can keep that number very small.
Yeah, but that small's relative though. So what's
Let's
that
say
mean?
10.
10 people. People can't shut up.
I shut up and I have a big mouth. You should never tell me a secret, I can tell you that. But I kept my mouth shut all the way until that movie came out, and I went to go see it with my brother, and I was so happy that it was finally out and I could tell people about it. I was like, I knew that and I didn't tell anybody. But I don't know that I could have kept the moon landing a secret though.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the moon landing would take substantially more people to pull off too.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the people in the control room or whatever. Like the, you know what I mean? Like the Houston, we've got a problem people.
Yeah, mission control.
Mission control, thank you. And then you've got, you know, people who theoretically are running the camera, makeup people, costume people. You've got the dirt people, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
I mean, they had, if they did that, you know, because the way that there weren't as many satellites at the time.
Yeah.
So there were communication, I don't know if it was this way for the moon landing, but if you're listening to this and you've never seen The Right Stuff and you like space and airplanes, you should watch it. It's really good. It's really long, but it's really good. And if there's a scene in that anyway where they're early on in the space program and they're orbiting, and they have communication hubs across the world. Because there's no satellites to relay any information.
Yeah.
So when you're sitting in Houston and there's a guy, however 60 miles or however high up it is.
So many miles.
It's up there. Like low Earth orbit, I think is 60-ish miles or something like that.
I have no idea.
Yeah, to talk to him though, like you got to be under them essentially. So they'd have communications hubs all around the world.
Awesome.
So it's like it would be very, very complicated to do all that stuff.
It
but,
would be.
Yeah, it would just be a lot of people, right? And I think that's where most conspiracy theories fall apart, is it would involve too many people.
Like the Denver airport.
The Denver airport, which is also, but see, there's a lizard people connection to that too, right?
Denver airport is one like we were talking about that I think connects so many different conspiracy theories. But yes, lizard people.
Yeah, but once again, it's cold. They wouldn't be there.
Probably not. But if they live under the Denver airport in the tunnels, maybe it's climate controlled for them. They have it on lizard weather all year round.
The best part about it is that Lucifer, which is the horse for people that don't know,
Outside the airport.
outside the airport, is like the Bronco of the Denver Broncos is Lucifer. First of all, his name Lucifer, which
Yeah.
and secondly, does look like a gigantic satanic horse.
Like whatever your beliefs are, it does look like that.
It's an evil looking horse.
Yeah.
And then there's the art.
No, but wait, before you even get off of Lucifer, it killed its creator.
I don't know that I know the entirety of that story.
The only thing that I know is somehow he was crushed.
Oh, the thing fell over on him.
Yeah. It's cursed, probably. So yes, the art. Super creepy.
So the art is super creepy.
Definitely giving you like secret code messages, it seems.
It's just this really, I feel like the people that listen to this will have seen all of this stuff, but if they haven't, they should go look at it because it is definitely creepy. And then the funniest part about it is that they're remodeling the airport right now, and they've completely leaned into it.
Yeah, big time.
And the magical place that is our conspiracy theories on Reddit is just so beautiful. I think that people are like upset about that too, because they're like they're rubbing it in our faces now, man. It's like,
they're not even trying to hide it.
but wouldn't that make you feel better a little bit? Because
It makes you feel validated.
well, but the other thing is, if the lizards that live under the airport and are speaking to you in code have a sense of humor, that probably means that they're not totally bad guys. They just want to like eat
Fair.
huge gnats and chill in the sun and cheer on the Broncos, I guess. I don't know.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you're starting a new conspiracy theory that Denver Broncos fans are also reptilians.
All the Denver Broncos fans I know are bald. I can say that. But there's only 2 of them at work that I can think of. And I mean, we're on the East Coast. There's not a ton of. My favorite thing to do when people tell me is they're a Broncos fan is to draw a square and then tell them to tell me where Denver's at. Because Colorado is just a square.
Pretty much.
They don't know. They don't know where Denver's at.
It's in the square.
It is in the square somewhere. Somewhere.
I have been to the Denver airport. This was back in 2018, and I specifically scheduled a layover so that I could go investigate this conspiracy. And you couldn't see any of it. None of it, because it was all under construction.
Yeah, it's all blocked off right now.
So that's what, 7 years ago? They're still doing construction in the airport and still have things blocked off. Interesting.
Yeah, maybe there's some truth to all this stuff.
This is one I actually do buy into a little bit. Do I think it really goes as deep as like the New World Order or like, I played a video for you the other day about like a gate that doesn't really exist. Like a liminal space or something. Almost like back rooms.
Yeah, it was like back rooms.
Yeah. And
it was a really well done video too, actually.
It was so well done. And it's such a, like, listening to the story, I'm like, nah, that's total BS. Like, there were definite holes in it. That being said, it was really fun to listen to.
You know that I've seen other videos, and I've came to the conclusion that like that whole thing, even the narration, is all AI.
Stop it.
It really
I'm
is.
so scared of AI. This is a whole thing for another day. Maybe we'll do an episode on AI later, but everybody says that it'll never replace actors or writers or any of, but it already is. Like, it really, there are things that I see that I don't know that I don't know are AI.
Yeah, it continues to get better, and you have to know what to look for. And interestingly enough, you can look this up, but there was an AI that was hooked up to all of the company's emails, and they told it, they were explaining to it that they were going to turn it off to upgrade it or whatever, and it read all of the CEO's emails and found out that he was cheating on his wife and basically started to extort them to not mess with it.
It's like no one has watched iRobot.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
That's the story, at least. I didn't dig into the story, so it could be complete bullshit, but there apparently have been a couple instances of the AI when being told that it was being upgraded or something like that. And there's a Google engineer that, did you ever hear about this guy who swears up and down that the AI that he's working on is sentient? And if you see a picture of him, he looks really weird. And then I watched an interview with him, and I was like, damn, this guy's a lot more normal than all of them. It was kind of scary. I'm like, this guy's pretty normal.
But think about, in all of the movies, right? It's always the guy who looks nutso that we should have listened to the whole time, right?
That's true.
It's always the mad scientist that's like this giant wave is going to come and wipe out the whole continent. Like, you need to get out. Yeah.
Yeah, Randy Quaid and
Independence Day.
Oh, I was going to say Christmas Vacation. But...
all of the above.
Yeah.
Randy Quaid, period.
But yeah, I mean, the Denver airport one is super good. That one, like, makes a lot of... I mean, it doesn't make sense in that it makes sense. It makes sense in that there is some definite weird things there.
Yeah. I don't think it doesn't make sense, honestly. I kind of get some of it. Hi, pals. The code word for this episode is sinister.
Yeah. There's so much... I love any of the, like, kooky kind of theories around MK Ultra and all that sort of stuff, which, as we're kind of finding out, some of those programs were, whatever they were called at the time,
yeah,
there was definitely some weird
it's not all conspiracy theory.
No, it wasn't all theory. It was stuff that was really going on, like CIA drug experiments, and they were legitimately trying to do remote viewing.
Right, I was just going to bring that one up. Do you remember what that project was called? Because that's from, like, The Men Who Stare at Goats, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what that one was called. The only weird project that I remember the name of is called Acoustic Kitty. And it was about implanting, and they did this apparently, but it was implanting listening equipment in cats, in stray cats, and then releasing them on the Russian embassy in DC. So... I
have questions, like, where did they implant it?
I don't remember.
Because if it was all the way inside them, you probably wouldn't pick up much.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm not trying to be funny, but, like, you put it, like, in their gut somewhere, you're not going to get a whole lot, I would imagine. But if you, like, maybe put it in their ear or someplace that's thinner, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. But
that's so weird.
I'm sure we had our sharpest minds working on it, I guess. I don't know.
Whenever I hear stuff like that, I think about James Bond and, is it M? His, like, handler?
Yeah.
And then Q, right, is the other one.
Was like the dude that made up all the stuff.
Yeah, and I think about them every time I hear conspiracy theories like that.
Yeah.
Where they do some weird shit like putting bugs in cats.
If you, to go back to AI for a minute, there's a good one called Dead Internet Theory. I always forget about that.
I don't know this one at all.
So Dead Internet Theory is the idea that if you go onto like Reddit or you go onto various internet platforms, that the majority of the traffic and the output that you see on those sites is basically artificial intelligence just talking to itself. Because which there's probably some truth to that.
Yeah, it doesn't not make sense.
You actually see it on, and I'm convinced that this is I'm convinced that this is like BuzzFeed or some of these other places that write articles that are just ripping off Reddit posts.
Yeah.
But you go on there and you read these stories, like we were talking about Am I the Asshole stuff.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. And it's one of two things. It's people that are just seeking validation, or it's people that are so much in the right that you would never ask the question if I was being an asshole.
Right.
Like, I saved my mom from dying from
I pulled her from the train tracks.
Yeah, and like it made the train 5 minutes late. Am I the asshole? It's stuff like that, and it's just engagement bait. But yeah, so anyway, Dead Internet Theory is a good one where it's just basically the idea that a lot of the traffic you see on the internet is robots talking to each other.
They can talk to each other all they want. As long as I don't get, annihilated by a robot army.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you heard of Project Pegasus?
This is time travel that you were talking about.
Yes. I heard about this on the podcast, and that's why we drink. I did look it up. It is episodes 102 and 103. It is, to me, and I don't even know that I would call it a conspiracy theory. It's just this guy claims that this happened. Let me tell you a little bit about this. I got a little bit of notes here.
Go on.
So this is from medium.com where I'm getting these. This basically comes from an attorney in Seattle. Well, at least a former attorney named Andrew Basiago. And since the early 2000s, he has been claiming that when he was a child, he was part of a secret government program that was basically trying to get people to teleport or time travel. And this was under DARPA. Are you familiar with DARPA?
I am. They finance, if you ever see the crazy humanoid robots that are built by a company called Boston Robotics, Boston Robotics basically got all of their seed money from DARPA.
From DARPA.
Yeah.
So basically DARPA is it stands for Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. And this Project Pegasus supposedly began in the 70s, and they allegedly used children because the scientists thought that the kids would be better able to adapt to these changes in the space-time continuum or whatever. And this guy, the attorney, claims he was the first child to teleport. Okay?
So, just for a second.
Yeah.
This is where all of this stuff begins to unravel for me.
Right.
Because it's like we've talked about before. It's when I was 6, I was abducted by Bigfoot, and then I saw aliens, and then I was contacted by a demon, and then I was this, and then I was that. And it's you're either the unluckiest person in the world, or, well, maybe the luckiest if you're into all that stuff, or you're just full of shit.
So, if we can take a detour real quickly.
Yep.
It's funny that you say that, because when I went to Michigan Paracon in 2023, Andrea Perrin from the Conjuring story, Andrea Perrin was going to be there. And I had heard her speak on a podcast before, and I was like, I don't know. First, you're in this crazy demonic house, theoretically. Then you build relationships with extraterrestrials. So she says that she's able to communicate with aliens. She's not just able to communicate with them, but they stay in contact. They're friends, basically. And I mentioned that to somebody when I got to Michigan, and they're like, she literally is so magnetic, and when you meet her, you feel like you're the only person in the room, and she's so kind and nice and all this. And I was like, okay. Legitimately, the first time I was in a room with her, I could feel it. It is so interesting. She just radiates kindness, and she just seems like such a good, genuine person, and it's very interesting. So that night, I was like, I'm sorry, this makes me laugh every time. I am such a skeptic, okay? And that night, the first night, I think maybe the second night, Andrea said that she was going to go out to the parking lot, and anybody who wanted to come could come, and she was going to sing to the aliens.
Yeah, I remember you telling me this.
And she
way
said,
too early in our relationship.
It was maybe even our first date, actually. And she sure did. We went out to the parking lot, and I went with a couple of friends, and I remember being like, this is so stupid. No way does anything happen. But hey, at least I can say I did it, right? So we're out there, and my friend Lauren is with me, and I remember we're like looking up at the stars, and everybody's freaking out about everything, right? Like, oh, I saw something move. It's an alien. No, dummy, that's a satellite. Like, that's a shooting star. Like, it was very clear that all these things that people are freaking out over have an actual rational explanation.
Yeah.
But then she started singing, and she's like, the aliens love this music. They love when you sing this to them. And she has a great singing voice, I will say.
But what was the song?
I don't remember. It's kind of like jazzy, like maybe 40s, 50s kind of.
Yeah.
It was great. I have video of this somewhere. And she's singing, and Lauren and I are still looking at the sky thinking, okay, satellite, okay, planet, okay, whatever. And we see something move, and both of us are like, wait, what was that? We couldn't explain that one. Am I saying it's an alien or a UFO? No, I'm not. I am saying we couldn't explain that particular light we saw in the sky.
Yeah.
So now...
I just am really invested in what the aliens is like, you know, Billie Holiday. Or
Yeah.
Linda.
That kind of vibe, yeah.
Right.
Like kind of jazzy. Yeah.
Classy fellas.
Very classy. Aliens are classy reptiles, apparently,
They could be.
that enjoy the cold.
Or they're 6 foot tall, gray fellas.
There seems to be no consistency on that one, no.
They're kind of androgynous, if we're being honest.
So there's the grays, but then there's the like humanoid ones, and apparently the reptilians. There's all different kinds of aliens.
All kinds. And then the black helicopters come, and there's actually like a reasonable, the black helicopters, that's also kind of a conspiracy theory.
I don't know this one.
You never heard I mean, you watched X-Files. We should watch X-Files tonight after all of this.
We should. We started watching the X-Files over again because we both watched it.
It's so good. I forgot how good it was.
I know. And
it's corny in a way, but it is super good still, though.
Some of the episodes are corny, and some of them still hold up.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
the one with the astronaut is horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid.
That one's stupid as hell, but the damn... the one that...
The guy that comes through the vents and, like, eats your liver?
Yeah.
That still gives me nightmares.
Had a nest.
Yeah, oh god, why did you bring up the nest? No, we're not watching X-Files tonight, no thanks. I would like to sleep.
And then, so anyway, the black helicopters were, it's like, some people say like that's how the Men in Black come to get you when you've seen the aliens, or...
Oh, in a helicopter.
They come in a helicopter.
I thought it was like a town car.
I mean, there's different versions of it, you know.
Probably nowadays it'd be like a blacked out Escalade.
Yeah. Rolling on Dub Deuces. And then but that whole thing about the creepy black helicopters coming to get you was from like an ad from maybe the 50s or the 60s. And it was an anti-UN ad that was like, don't join the UN, the UN's gonna send black helicopters to get you.
Makes sense. That seems like a good reason to not join the UN.
Yeah, there's a lot of other good reasons. That one's not one of them. Probably the biggest, kind of most sweeping, and it was a Netflix, on Netflix, the octopus conspiracy. That one deserves its own show because it's so bananas.
We will talk about that some other time because
it's a
lot.
It's a lot because it's super vast.
Yeah.
And what's the lady's name who is a character? She's in the House of Representatives from California. Elderly black lady.
Still alive?
Yeah. Maxine.
Oh, Waters?
Yeah. So apparently, like, she has some connection to this because she was trying, like, I want to say it's this one. I'll
Okay.
look. When I come back next quarter.
Next quarter. Well, this is a quarterly segment.
Yeah. Next quarter, we'll sit down and we'll talk again. It was either him and that one, or it was another one where she was saying, "I believe this dude."
Oh.
She's a.
No, I know what you're talking about. That was the whistleblower, the alien whistleblower.
Well, she's been around for a few of these.
Yeah.
She's an interesting character herself. Let's just be honest. Politics aside, she's an interesting character.
1,000%. She's on my list of people I would want to like sit down and have dinner with. You know how people ask that question? They're like, if you could have a dinner party, absolutely, she would be on my list. She's so interesting to me.
If I was going to do politician, from a weirdo standpoint, it would have to be Dennis Kucinich.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Yeah.
He was. Did you ever see his wife?
I don't think so.
He was like a little.
He's a weird little guy.
He's a weird looking little guy. Shout out to Dennis if you're watching. You seem like a cool dude. And he was a weird little fella, and he was married to like a 6'4" Amazon of a
All
woman.
right.
And she was probably 20 years his junior.
Oh.
But anyway, he was down with aliens. He was like, yeah, I saw
Yeah.
aliens.
So, I actually did a blog almost a year ago now about Jimmy Carter and aliens.
And aliens. Yeah.
And that was fascinating to dig into. And I would love to talk about that again sometime, because it was one of those things that every article you read, there was something else to learn. It was so interesting.
Well, maybe this turned more freeform than I think we probably planned, but
But it worked out good.
it's a very busy time for both of us right now, so we didn't have a lot of time to storyboard.
Yeah. And we do have to wrap it up because this is getting kind of long.
Yeah, so maybe next quarter I'll come back. Well, I'm always here.
I was going to say, I guess this is how I find out he's leaving.
Every time you do a podcast, I'm in it. You guys just don't see me because
Usually he's sleeping.
I'm usually sleeping right now because my schedule is bananas. But we'll see. It'll slack up. I saw this thing the other day. It was like it said adulthood was every day saying it'll slow down in a week or so, and it never doing that.
I say that all the time.
So we both kind of like to stay busy. I mean, so we always have something going on.
Well, I think you like to stay busy, but you do like a pretty good job of keeping it like under control. My problem is I have ADHD, and I keep putting stuff on my plate because I get distracted or confused, and the next thing I know, I'm overwhelmed, and I really got to reel it in.
Yeah. So we'll storyboard the next one.
Or maybe just pick one conspiracy to talk about even.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out, and then maybe we'll do a Christmas special or something.
Oh Lord, Christmas conspiracies. That would be fun, actually.
Maybe.
Conspiracy for Christmas. We'll put a crackling fire behind us.
The Yule log. That's what it's called. The Yule log.
Yeah. I can't. I'm not good at.
I was at home alone on. I think it was like the first year that we were dating, and you went to.
I went home
for Christmas,
and
I put the Yule log on the YouTube, and not the YouTube, the TV. There's a Yule log video
on the YouTube.
And I listened to jazz and hammered whiskey all night. It was great. It was like one of the better Christmases I've ever had. Last year was nice too, though.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Last year you gave me the best. Oh, let me think of how I want to word this. You know what? Screw it. Last year you gave me the best stocking stuffer.
Oh.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, of course I remember what it was. I thought you were going to say, I don't know why you were like, I don't know how I'm going to word this. Like I gave you something erotic or something. It was pepperonis.
I know, but what I was going to say is you gave me the best stocking stuffer. It was a salami. And then I was like, That sounds a little dirty.
That's funny though.
It is funny, and it wasn't a salami; it was pepperoni.
It was pepperoni, yeah.
And it's because, like, I think everybody does something different for stockings. Like, people have different traditions and stuff.
We didn't even do that when I was a kid.
Oh, you didn't do stockings?
No.
So that was like our thing. Like, our big thing was our stockings, and it was always like a toothbrush and like hair ties.
Yeah.
Or whatever, like little necessities that you wouldn't buy for yourself.
Crazy lame.
Really lame. Sometimes socks or underwear, and then candy usually.
Yeah.
And then as we got older, sometimes there'd be like a gift card in there, or there'd be some like little trinket or something.
Right.
And so this was the first year that we did stockings for each other. And Dave put a couple of fun little things in there, and then I pull out this bag of pepperonis.
Yeah.
And it was the best.
They were
because
good too.
I love pepperonis.
They were boar's head. You got the good stuff.
I got the good stuff, and I don't think it lasted more than a day or two.
No, pepperoni doesn't make it very long in this house.
It's so good.
It either goes on a pizza or it just
It's
gets
straight in the mouth.
absolutely mauled out of the refrigerator.
That, yeah. Mostly that. We bought 2 bags of pepperoni because they were buy one get one free, and I don't think they lasted a week.
No, it's a good snack.
It was a good snack. Okay, so I think we got to wrap it up. So I want to say thank you for joining us. The dog is on my lap and he is yawning. He's over it this episode. Yeah. But normally this is where we would ask if you'd like to join the secret society of the Spooky Sisterhood. But you've pretty much been on board since day one. So I'm not going to make you take the oath.
Oh, okay.
Not today. Maybe we'll do it in private later. Yeah, so I just want to say thank you for your support and your encouragement, not just of me, but of this community that we're building, and I appreciate that. But quick reminder for everybody, next week we're going to announce that you're going to be giving away a prize for our Hunt Down to Halloween giveaway.
Yes.
And you can't see it right now. I'll show like a picture of it later, but right behind Dave is a beautiful print of this kind of spooky picture that he's taken. Dave does a lot of photography.
Yep.
And he's wonderful at it. And this one particular shot I've always really liked because it's just kind of like it's spooky but not scary. It's an old building. It's a silo.
Yeah, it's not even there anymore.
And it's got birds perched up at the top, vultures, right? Or crows.
Those, I believe, those are vultures.
It looks like vultures.
Those are those good James River vultures.
The James River vultures, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're going to give a print of that away for Hunt Down to Halloween. Is there some place that folks can come check out your photography, or is that something that maybe will come in the future?
Maybe in the future. I don't, I guess, really have a lot of time to upload stuff.
Yeah. You're a busy guy.
Maybe in the future. In the meantime, mind your own business. Dave's not even my real name, so guess what? You can't find me, IRS. Haha. No.
We'll cut that part.
Okay, thank God they can find you, believe me.
We'll bleep out your name too.
No, but yeah, that's something I'm working on in the future. Other than that, maybe we do some prints in the spooky store whenever that comes to fruition.
That's great.
And if you, for whatever reason, want to get a hold of me, I do bar mitzvahs, and, christenings, whatever.
Bris.
Yeah, bris. Quinceañeras, it doesn't matter. I'm a man of the people. You can just hit me up through Melanie if you want to talk about cameras or something.
Yeah, don't try to talk to me about cameras, but I'll get you guys in touch or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, well, before we sign off, just a reminder to check us out on social media. You can go to beacons.ai/spooky sisterhood, and you can find our links. You can find our guests' links. And also a big thank you to our Patreon pals. If you'd like to join us for that, we have lots of perks. We have bonus content like what we're about to record called After the Gavel, which is a little bit more off the cuff, fun questions. We also give people the opportunity to find out about our special guests ahead of time and ask questions. There's special merch, things like that, and that's actually something that we're working on, coming up with some cool new ideas for our Patreon. So go check that out, patreon.com/spooky sisterhood. And if there's no more business, this meeting of the Secret Society of the Spooky Sisterhood is adjourned. As always, keep it spooky, Sibs. It's on down to Halloween season, y'all. This year we've got an amazing grand prize package that we're giving away on Halloween. For information on how you can enter, visit our website, which is spookysisterhood.com/events. And please don't forget to check out all of our incredible paranormal partners. A huge thank you to the Smell of Fear Candle Company, Beacons TV, Spooks and Sparkles, Cryptid Comforts, Dave Hemmings, Adela Levine, Night Shift Paranormal, Lauren Haunts, and Spirit Jersey. Please go see all the wonderfully spooky things they have to offer today.